Stadium Drive Week 10 here on the Storied Rivals Podcast Network. Will Ford here. Thanks so much for joining us, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate it. Featuring two games this week on our show, Tri-Valley and John Glenn. Battle for the MVL Big School Division title on the line. But we are also featuring a huge game in the Columbus area as well, in the OCC, specifically OCC-Ohio, and it's Gahanna Lincoln Golden Lions taking on Pickerington North, the Panthers, and this is huge for Central Ohio because both teams are 9-0. So one team is going to have an undefeated regular season, and the other will drop to 9-1. And the OCC-Ohio league title is on the line in this one as well. So whoever wins this game, not only do they improve to 10-0, not only do they get bragging rights, but they get a league championship, and they're more than likely going to get the number one seed as well. And this is a huge game. And the number one seed, it's also up for grabs. Hilliard Bradley is firmly in the mix as well. If Hilliard Bradley takes care of business, they very well could be the number one seed after week 10. Right now, Pickerington North, I believe, is ranked third, and then it would be Hilliard Bradley and then Gahanna. And if Gahanna were to take care of business, they'd likely stay where they are, I would think. And then Pick North, if they were to win, maybe they would leapfrog. Who knows? But this is as big as it gets for Central Ohio football because of everything involved. There's just so much magnitude surrounding this game. But sat down with head coach Nate Hillerich of Pick North and Bruce Ward of the Gahanna Lincoln Golden Lions. And like, this is going to be a sold out game, thousands upon thousands of people, 10,000 people there, which, you know, if you're watching or listening to this in the Zanesville or like MVL area, like games don't have that many people there, not 10,000 people if it's a sold out crowd. So it's definitely a different atmosphere. So much more energy, and this is huge. I mean, for Gahanna, last week, and really season long, they've been led by a trio offensively. Diore Hubbard, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. Brennan Ward, 20 of 28, 382, 4 touchdown passes. Jalen Scott, over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown, and that was in week 9 at Grove City. They've been doing that all year. Their average margin of victory this year, 25 points per game. So they are just blowing out teams, and they are winning by almost 4 touchdowns. So they've been so good offensively. Their defense is probably just as good as their offense, and they're scoring on special teams. They've been solid in all 3 phases, and head coach Bruce Ward will talk about what went into that this year. And then if you look at the Pick North side, their quarterback, Landon O'Connell, has just been rock solid all season long, 3-year starter, all the measurables. He's 6'4", 215. And, when he first took over as a starter as a sophomore, they didn't ask him to do a whole lot. It was mostly just hand the ball off and then just don't put the ball in harm's way. But now, as he is grown, developed, he is taking control of this offense, and he is the driving force behind everything for the Panthers. And it's the battle of 2 quarterbacks, O'Connell and Ward. It's a battle of 2 great offenses. Both these teams are going to put up some points. You're not going to be able to stop the other, but who can limit the other the most, I suppose. For Nate Hillerich, he talked about, you got to stop Diore Hubbard. He drives the train for the Lions. But Bruce Ward, says you got to stop O'Connell. You got to make him uncomfortable. You got to get to him, force him. If you're not going to get to him and sack him, you got to force him to get the ball out quick, so that way he just doesn't have time to evaluate and read your defense. This game is as big as it gets in the OCC, in Central Ohio, in Columbus, and league title on the line, a chance to be undefeated in the regular season, but also number one seed implications. So we'll start with the visiting Pickerington North, Nate Hillerich, getting ready for this game, and we'll follow it up with Bruce Ward of Gahanna Lincoln and the Golden Lions. So thanks so much for tuning in. We are live at Jack Anderson Stadium in Dresden for Tri-Valley John Glenn. So make sure you check us out at 5:45. We'll play these interviews, and we'll also hype up that big game in the MVL. But here's some OCC football, man. OCC-Ohio. Here's Nate Hillerich and then Bruce Ward on the Storied Rivals Podcast Network. All right, we're here with head coach Nate Hillerich of Pickerington North High School ahead of Week 10, 9-0, going up against Gahanna, who's also 9-0. So the battle of undefeateds going into the last week of the season. Coach, I really appreciate your time today, joining the show, and battling Gahanna for the OCC-Ohio title. You have number one seed implications on the line. Both teams 9-0. Describe the feeling of being 9-0 and kind of the journey to this point, the adversity you've faced. But also the exciting nature of the chance to be 10-0, be a number one seed going into the playoffs, and also, win a league title at the same time.
Yeah, winning is really, really hard. So when you look back and you feel like we're 9-0 right now, proud of our team, proud of our players, especially with the schedule we play. We went down and played a GCL, big Catholic school team, Cincinnati Elder, Week 1, and beat them at their place. Played Upper Arlington, played our rival Pick Central, played a state championship team from Pittsburgh. So to be 9-0 is really, really hard. And I know it's the same just for Gahanna as well. So, a lot of people have been circling this game early in the year and knew this was going to be a big matchup, and we're excited.
Now, your quarterback, Landon O'Connell, he's a senior, 3-year starter. He's got all the measurables. He's 6'4", 215. Like, he's just a big, strong kid. Last week, 153 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's just kind of seen it all for your team, and he's just been so good. Talk about, I guess, his development through the 3 years that he's been a starter for you, and then how well he's played this year as your team's 9-0, and like I mentioned, a chance to be 10-0. Number one seed, and just the leadership that he's shown to get your team to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's ever anything that can be in place of experience. He's played a lot of football games. So Landon, as a sophomore, we won 9 games, went to the regional semifinals. He beat Pickerington Central for the first time in a long time here. But back then, we really weren't asking him to do as much. It was hand the ball off, don't turn it over. Where now, as a senior, he controls the team. We like to get the ball to our skill players. We got a lot of really good receivers. He's been really accurate, takes care of the football. So he's going to have to play well and lead our team on Friday night if we're going to win.
Now, this Gahanna football team, I mean, they've been rock solid all year, just as you have. But offensively, like Diore Hubbard, 165 yards last week, 2 touchdowns. He's been doing that all year, running the football. Brennan Ward, 20 of 28, really efficient, 382 yards, 4 touchdowns. Jalen Scott had over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. And those 3 guys, it's just been kind of a 3-headed monster all year for that Gahanna offense. What do you do to, you're obviously not going to stop them. They're going to score probably. You guys are going to score. It's going to be a battle. But what do you do to just try to contain them, limit them offensively to go out there and win this football game and get to 10-0?
Yeah, and I think their defense is really good too. So they get a lot of stops to keep the ball back. So obviously they're an incredible football team. They've returned kicks for touchdowns. Not a lot of weaknesses for them, but I do think I think one of the keys, if you're going to find a way to slow them down, is you got to stop Diore, their running back. I think he's maybe one of the best players in Ohio. He's got the ability to score anytime he touches the ball. So I think being able to stop him or slow him down is going to be a key for us.
Now, just last question for you, Coach. Just describe the energy of you and your football team as going into this week. It's the biggest game of the year, obviously, because so much is decided in this game. Winning the league championship. There's still a battle for the number one seed, and obviously, Hilliard Bradley is still in the conversation for the number one seed as well. Just describe the energy, the excitement, the emotion going into Week 10, knowing that what's around the corner for your team.
Yeah, I think there's nothing better. When you talk about 2 teams being undefeated, you're playing for the league championship. The buzz around the school, the game sold out on a Tuesday. I think their stadium will expect, I'd assume, probably 10,000 people at the game. It's going to be one of those that every kid dreams of playing in. You hope to play in a game like this. So excited for our team. There's a buzz at practice. There's not much a coach you have to say in a game like this. So we're just excited to, go out there on Wednesday to get better and ready to play on Friday night.
I'm so excited to see how this game turns out. There's so much on the line: league title, #1 seed, playoff implications. It just does not get any bigger in Ohio as far as football goes with this game right here. But Coach, I really appreciate your time today joining our show, and best of luck this Friday, but also in the playoffs the rest of the way. Go make another deep run, man. All right, we're here with head coach Bruce Ward of the Gahanna Lincoln Golden Lions, 9-0 going into week 10. And it's honestly the biggest week of the year because there's so much on the line. But Coach, I really appreciate your time today. 9-0, like I said, an average margin of victory this season, 25 points per game. So you're beating teams by almost 4 touchdowns. Obviously the offense with your quarterback Brennan and, running back Diore Hubbard and wide receiver Jalen Scott leading the way offensively. Your defense has been more than solid this year. Special teams, you're scoring special teams touchdowns as well. How have you been able to be so solid through all 3 phases of the game and be 9-0?
I think part of it is just consistency. Consistency between our kids, consistency in coaching. Obviously we have the Jimmies and Joes, but we do a good job of scheming up things and practicing hard. And that's a credit to the kids and their dedication and commitment and discipline. To be able to do these things.
Now, taking on Pickerington North this Friday, they're also 9-0. They've had a very, very good year, and their quarterback, Landon O'Connell, 3-year starter. He's been much improved over the last couple of years. You beat them, you handled them with relative ease last year, but it seems like they're a much improved team this year, obviously being 9-0. But how are you going to make him uncomfortable this Friday? Just trying to get to him, make him get rid of the ball a little bit quicker than he wants to, so that way he's not able to read your defense and just all in all, just kind of shut down their offense and shut him down a little bit.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you're going to shut that offense down. They're
right.
Pretty good. Well,
right.
And you said it. Our goal is trying to make him uncomfortable, make him get rid of the ball quick, and those are some of the things that we hope to be able to accomplish tomorrow night. But they're good. Honestly, we beat them last year, and I expect them to be better than that game was last year. Obviously they're going to come in wanting to revenge that game as well. But they're good, and I don't know if we'll be able to shut them down or pressure him, but that will be the key. I think if you can get some pressure on him and make him make quicker decisions, then hopefully we'll have a shot at having success.
Now, talk about the magnitude of this game, because obviously the OCC-Ohio title is on the line. Whoever wins this game wins the league title. But then there's also #1 seed implications as well with you and Pick North, and then Hilliard Bradley's in the conversation as well. So it's really just a lot up for grabs this week. So there's a ton of magnitude and pressure surrounding this game, but talk about the excitement of you and your guys, how you feel. Like, obviously you're 9-0 at this point, so you're feeling very good and confident about the way you've been playing, but there's just so much energy and so much magnitude around this game. Talk about the way you and your guys are feeling about this game and then moving forward as you get ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, first and foremost, obviously it's good for Central Ohio football. Just kind of showcase that there is good football in Central Ohio. It's probably some of the best in the state. Of course, I'm biased about that, but that's first and foremost. OCC-Ohio. Last year we were represented with 2 teams in the regional final between us and New Albany. Now we have OCC-Ohio with 2 9-0 teams, 2 of the top teams in the state going at it week 10. Hilliard Bradley's part of the OCC as well. So, it's just, the magnitude of it is great for high school football, OCC football, and Central Ohio football. But obviously it'll be a big game. It's sold out, and it's going to be 2 good teams with 2 well-coached teams going at it. And I think that's the beauty of it, and hopefully the winner in this game has a shot at #1 spot in our region. But, Hilliard Bradley's playing well and has that spot as we talk now, but we'll see what happens, and it's going to be a good game, exciting game. I think it's 2 equally matched teams going at it, and it'll be a battle.
Now, I talked to the Pick North head coach Nate Hillerich yesterday, and he said sold out. Like, could be like 10,000 people. Like, what's it like playing in front of that many people? Like the bright lights, Friday night, 2 9-0 teams, chance to go 10-0, but all of this on the line as well. What's it like playing in front of all those people?
Honestly, I've said this all week. Like, I don't realize that many people are there. You're so focused on the field and what's going on the field that you really don't realize it until, like I said this before, we've had a tremendous support over the last 2 years, really all my whole tenure here. But our first home game to open the stadium this year it was pretty packed, and you don't really realize it until you look back and watch the film, or you look at pictures from the game and you look and you're like, holy cow, like it was jam packed. But I think the energy on the field will be just as amazing as it is off the field this week. Again, a lot at stake, a lot on the line, bragging rights, all that stuff's on the line. So it's going to be a electric atmosphere. It's going to be jam-packed. It's going to be exciting for both teams. And I'm sure that both teams want to play at their best and put on a show and show what they're about this year. And it's going to be a great game.
We're super excited to see how this thing turns out. The 2 9-0 Titans going at it and so much on the line. Coach, I really appreciate your time today, but best of luck this Friday and the rest of the way in the playoffs. Go make another deep run, man. And yeah, thanks so much for the time today.